conversation. It was me and another guy who were trying to figure out where can we bike in this area. We were in a pickup on our way to Maple Log Resort, and he said, "Oh, Eddie Johnson Park, man, you gotta go there." It's a ski one, so I was like, I don't even know what's happening, I'm gonna check it out. So I went there and started walking around the woods, and I was thinking, this is actually, you can do something here, this is doable. So I took a stick that I found on the ground and started whacking the metal. If you guys have ever had metal, it's an itchy crap, and it kind of grows along the valley layer. I'm just whacking these weeds, and get my bike, I'm like, oh yeah, you can do this, there's a little trail in here. And next thing I know, I tell a couple people, and they're out there on an evening or a weekend, and they're building a little bit of trail, a little more trail, and we connect. Like, this is a trail, we actually have a trail, it's going to be 2 months long. But it was fun and it was ours, it was very self-serving. And we thought, you know what, we need to tell more people, and we should probably get the okay by the city, right? So we go to the Moorhead Parks, and Moorhead Parks was open arms. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Larry Anderson was his name. What do you need from us? And that was kind of where this whole thing was born. We started thinking, man, we should have an organization. It shouldn't be just 3 or 4 of us, because maybe if one leaves, it just falls apart. So we started Fargo Moorhead Trailbuilders. Now it's an organization, just volunteers. Like I said, I'm here representing these volunteers. Where we're at today is we have 3 trail systems in Fargo. One in the very north part of Moorhead. It's NB Johnson Park. It's about a 5.5-mile trail system. It's all single track. It's through about an 80-acre park of woods. If you have it, raise your hand if you've been there. NB Johnson Park. A gem. I mean, it is a gem of a little park. Nobody thinks of Fargo and it's a little wooded community with awesome trails going through it. NB Johnson Park is that. So that was our first. That's where we started this thing. The second came about by a gentleman named Pat Curry. Pat was doing a project for education at NDSU. He was taking some night classes, and one of his things was doing something he was passionate about, and mountain biking was it. So he came to me, he's like, do you think I could make something at Gooseberry? I'm like, I don't know, let's ask the city. Yeah, Moorhead Parks, yeah, sounds good. So Pat and a group of guys went out and made another trail. Now we've got Gooseberry Park and a little segment of that to the south called Horn. Horn is a little bit more of a technical area, and Gooseberry is kind of classic single track. That's an additional roughly 4.5 to 5 miles between the two. When COVID kicked off, we were in the process of starting to build upon a small trail that had been established at Heilman Park, which is on the Fargo side. There's a group of gentlemen who got a lot of things done to make that happen and get us approval to start making a trail, and as it stands today, there's 7.5 miles of single track in a loop fashion at Heilman Park. Right now there's some construction there, kind of breaks it up a little bit, but it's also another really fun place to go. So we're here to share a win. A win that we're working on right now is getting our agreement with the Fargo Parks District amended, which would allow us to not only improve some of the trail that we have at Island to the south with a small, roughly 0.5 to 1 mile additional part of trail that would be much more technical oriented, meaning rocks, maybe some jumps, some drops, and things to kind of get people more experienced to some of the things they would see in, let's say, Colorado or the North Shore, just some of those skills that they can build upon, and then also a much bigger trail expansion going all the way up to Lemke Park, which would add roughly double the trail that we have, roughly. So we're still in the process of getting that approved, and hopefully in 2024, that's something we could potentially start breaking ground on. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening in this room with people, and you know, I'm gonna tie it back to that orchestra concert. Let's keep making beautiful things. Let's just keep that momentum going. So thank you all of you for what you're doing. I think there's gonna be some more to be talked about after this. So if you're interested kind of in what's happening with the trail scene in the Fargo Moorhead area, please hang out for the social afterwards. We'll have a better chance to discuss.
Thank you, Tom. I have a question. As you work with Fargo Parks and Moorhead Parks, obviously they have elected officials. Thank you, Commissioner Preston, be here as well. We need that public support, right? With the leadership change at the Park District in Fargo, are there things that we can be doing to help make sure that they know that we like these services and if they can enhance your work?
Yeah, obviously, if you know a city commissioner or somebody on a park board, be open to having that discussion if you like trails. Historically, I think there are, like which has been mentioned in here a few times, there's maybe a little bit of a road mentality with what mountain biking was, but that's changed so much. I mean, the road mentality was when we were 15 and 14, right? And it was what you saw on MTV TV. We're 40 plus, right? We're in our prime working years. We are those people, and we're starting to make that available and accessible to everybody. And it is great to get out there with your kids and everybody else. So just communicating, letting them know that you're interested and you'd like to see more, I think brings not only the attention to it, but everything else. And I think one thing, you know, if somebody asked me what could we do, we're all volunteers right now. Fargo Moorhead Trailbuilders is 100% volunteers. Everybody has a full-time job or something else that they're doing, okay? Nobody's paid. In order to really, I think, enact change and start to really turn this thing, we probably need somebody who can be doing this full-time. Not just the trail work, but working with our local municipalities and understanding what types of things are important. What makes this a good experience? What makes it a draw to outside people? What makes people stay here when it comes to those features? And I think that's a big part of what we need to transition to as a community, is if we're serious about this and we want to make this great, I think we need to start being able to put some resources behind those organizations that are doing these types of things and allowing them to do it full-time. Because they're bringing it to everybody and it takes some resources.
Like you said, please stay for the social, and we'll talk more about that.
Lawrence was raising his hand.
Yeah, Lawrence, go ahead.
One thing that's changed the industry a lot, e-bikes. If you could maybe just elaborate from Trailbuilders' perspective, what we've seen with e-bikes and how we now approach having e-bikes on trails.
Yeah. What is our official stance? We've had this discussion a lot. E-bikes when they first came out, I was one of them. I was a little worried, like, oh my gosh, these are going to turn into race tracks and dirt bike tracks. But what we've really found with the advent of e-bikes is it's really more about accessibility. It's not about getting out and going 100 miles an hour. It's about people being able to have access to it that maybe didn't before, due to an injury or an ailment or age or whatever it is. If it gets them out there and it gets them active, I don't really have a problem with an e-bike. And as an organization, we don't have a problem with an e-bike. I think it's great. I think, we still, some of this question nationally is it legal? Is it a motorized vehicle? Is it not? But I think we're finding it's fine as long as people are being responsible with them. That's the biggest thing. And so I guess I'm in support of them, personally. I would be okay with it as an organization. We don't have an official stance per se, but I think we all kind of agree, like, if you want to use one, just like anything. Just like if you're out there on your pedal bike, be responsible, It's okay to go fast, but you are in charge of yourself here, so be careful.
All right, thank you. There's one thing on e-bikes. I know in 2021 I was a part of an effort, and Dan Farnsworth with MetroCog helped me out to this too, but we went out to Bismarck and passed a number of bike legislations, and one of them was the e-bike classifications, which as that industry continues to take off, we're going to have to go back and make sure we have those right. But that's something that we'll be help on. Anyways, next up we have Josie from the